Hello, Pick and Onion Knight here, and welcome to another pickups video. Now, the last pickups video I did was in May, and we're now the end of September, so this is overdue, really. Although I did say last time it probably would be about 6 months till I did the next pickups video, because I wasn't expecting to buy all that much. And to be fair, for 6 months I haven't bought all that much. Now, I'll just explain briefly. You might hear a bell ringing every now and then, or something being knocked over. That's because the cat is here, and I don't want to force her to get out of the room. She's a bit lonely at the moment, and yeah, it's basically sticking to me like a limpet. So obviously, if she jumps in front of me at any point or gets in the way, I will cut that bit out. Or I might do some sort of blooper compilation, I don't know. So yeah, if you do hear a ringing, it's not your ears, you're not developing tinnitus, that's a cat bell. Right, so I'm going to try and keep this pickups video under an hour, and I'm not going to spoil it exactly, but I am going to say there's a few odd stories in here, and there's something really good coming at the end. Something that I surprised myself that I actually bought, but there you go. First of all, beginning of a new season, I suppose, of pickups. I just wanted to knock a few cheapies off the list. So what I basically did is I decided I was going to knock a few cheap PlayStation 3 games off my list, just to get them out of the way. So I just went down to my local branch of CEX, and basically anything that was under £1 in the PlayStation 3 section I bought. With one exception, which was Duke Nukem Forever. That was below £1 and it was in the PlayStation 3 section, but the case, the artwork on the case was utterly wrecked, and I think it was in French as well, so that didn't help. So I didn't buy that. But basically I bought out what they had sitting on the shelf that was any good and under £1 for PlayStation 3. So I have got Beijing 2008, which is by Sega, but it's a button mashy Olympicsy game. And they're all in good condition. I mean, I don't need to keep saying this, but you know, as long as the artwork's good and the manual, if it had one, is there, you don't really need to worry about PlayStation 3 discs so much, because they're all Blu-ray, and as we know, you can't really kill a Blu-ray. I mean, they're not indestructible, but you know, they've got such a hard coating on them, it's very difficult to damage one. Certainly beyond the point that it won't play, so you don't really need to worry with them too much. So next is Condemned 2, another Sega one. This one has been through a pre-owned program before, so that's a sticker that's going to have to come off. And I keep saying this, I'm going to do a video where I show people how to get rid of stickers and glues and things like that certainly off artwork, but off cases as well, without damaging them. And yeah, I'm going to have to write that down and actually get round and do it. So yeah, Condemned 2. Body count for the PlayStation 3. It's in really nice condition, actually, especially for a white manual. You normally expect dirt, hair, fingerprints, food, all sorts of things on there, but no, really good condition. Bionic Commando, bit of sticker stuck there again, not in the best condition. Manual's got a few creases, but other than that, fine. Perfect. And most of these are early release PlayStation 3, so if you look really carefully, there'll be red band games, and the case will actually say PlayStation 3 on them. That is something I look for as well. So if you look, body count is a newer case, and it's just Blu-ray disc, no red band, so no red band usually, Blu-ray disc. Early game, PlayStation 3 red band, says PlayStation 3 on the case, so that's something to look for as well. Just a tip there. Resistance 2, which is the sequel to Resistance. Yeah, again, one that's been through a pre-owned program. And I thought, oh no, this is they've put the wrong thing in here, but I think this is the manual for Resistance 2. It just doesn't say Resistance 2 on the front of the manual. So, home front with exclusive Resistance multiplayer pack. That got 9 out of 10 from Zoo, you see. So, yeah. Not just boobs, but game reviews. Who knew that Zoo did game reviews? There you go. There's a code in here for an exclusive shotgun. The manual's in here. Blah 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 blah. I'm probably not going to worry too much about getting the exclusive shotgun. FIFA World Cup South Africa. So this is obviously 8 years old now, I suppose. And again, on FIFA games and a lot of the EA Sports games, they have holograms on the front here, and I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but if you look at the hologram, it will actually say FIFA South Africa on it. So that's and yeah, it's got a serial number as well, SA something or other. So yeah, that's something to look for as well, is make sure it hasn't been recased. Although why anyone would recase a football game is beyond me. Oh, sorry, I should be going through the prices here, but they were all less than £1. So yeah, that was 50 pence. I'm not going to go. They were all less than £1. So, you know, Assassin's Creed 2, just the normal one, none of the special edition ones, just the cheap ones. That was £1. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. With a manual, and again, sticker on the bloody front of it. Where are we? Brotherhood, £1 that was. Assassin's Creed Revelations in a black case. Now I thought, oh, this is a recase job, but apparently it's not. Apparently it did come in a black case, because I saw 2 more on eBay that were in black cases. So. Yeah, some were in clear cases and some were in black, so I don't know. I haven't really tracked down what the deal is with that. But in saying that, this could be still a recase, because I saw a few other PlayStation 3 games in black cases where my copy of it isn't. So, but I'm assuming this is fine. Like I say, went on eBay, had a look who was selling them, and there was a couple of them that were in black cases. So I don't know if that was maybe a retailer exclusive or something like that, or it genuinely is just a recase job. I'm not going to look at all PlayStation 3 games on eBay at any given time just to track down. But yeah. So if anyone knows if this is a thing of being in a black case, then you can let me know. Anyway, that was £1. Time Shift, that's a game by Sierra, who is not the Sierra. If you're a PC gamer from the 90s, this is not the same Sierra, although they do use the name. It's different people. I've no idea what this game is about, but everything seems to check out in the box, and that was... lost it. No, there it is. £1 for Time Shift. Sports Champions, which is a Move game, which is handy because I have the PlayStation Move, including the controllers, so that's good. I don't need to buy them. They've shot up in price. So I'm assuming this is kind of your Wii Sports type thing. Looks kind of... in fact, that's exactly what it looks like. So this was, what is it called? Sports Champions, 50 pence for that. So, even if it's rubbish, who cares? Backbreaker. No, this is 505 Games makes this, and it's American football, isn't it? So it's like Madden, but worse. Now, the case isn't very good, so that might get a recase at some point, but again, not really worth it for a sports game, especially when that sports game was... what's it called? Backbreaker. 50 pence. So, who cares? The original Assassin's Creed, £1. So, yeah. Assassin's Creed games. There you go. Dark Void. which was 75 pence. Now, there was an issue with this game, and I can't remember what it was, but I remember I bought these at the CEX shop, and I went for a coffee or something, and I was having a look through them, and I can't remember what was wrong with this. I think I had to go back and get the disc swapped because I had 2 copies of this, and I had to go back and get the disc swap because it wasn't badly scratched. But it was scratched on the artwork side, and I thought, no, that's a no-no, and I know they had 2 copies, so I basically went back and got the disc changed on that. So the next person to go in my local CEX and buy a copy of Dark Void, unfortunately, had the artwork scratched on the disc. So, yeah, bad luck. That was, what was that? That was 75 pence, yeah. And then finally, Darkness, which is about a mafia hitman, so with power. I haven't played it. I have no idea. Case is a bit scratched, but again, doesn't matter. It's a cheapo game, just a sort of shelf. And again, the instruction book looks like some kind of wallet or something, but there's a little. What does this say? Addendum. Oh yeah, right. So obviously, when they printed the instruction book, they hadn't printed it right because there is an addendum card that comes in here that tells you if you need to change your bandwidth settings or something like that. This is obviously something they hadn't put in the instruction book when they printed it and had to add later. So it's good to have stuff like this because this is the kind of stuff that will disappear from a collection very quickly, and you'll find that there may be loads of people that have a pristine copy of a single game, excuse me, there's something in my eye, and they'll have the instruction book, they'll have the case, the artwork will be fine, but they don't have this bit, and this is the sort of thing that later on down the line will make something. I mean, obviously it won't detract from the value of a thing, but if something original's missing, so make sure that you know what's meant to have manuals and maps and things like that, and you can look out for that kind of thing. Right, so that was that one day. That was that one day at CEX. Oh, excuse me, something really is in my eye. So that was that one day at CEX. And then I didn't buy anything for a little while. I sort of held back because I thought, I'm not going to do what I did last time and spend silly money on stuff that I don't need. I'm going to make sure that it's something that I actually want before I go out and spend money on it. So I'll just tell you a story. Was that I was basically fishing around on eBay looking for some Sega stuff, as I often do. And I decided I wanted to buy a boxed Mega Drive, a version 1, the high definition graphics and stereo sound one, and kind of instead of buying one rather, I actually ended up with 2, because they were auctions that were ending on the same day. They were about the same price. I thought I'll hedge my bets and I'll put money on both of them, and then I'll get one. Because I can't remember what day it was. I think it was a popular day, like a Thursday or a Sunday, and I thought I know what's going to happen. I'm not going to be able to watch it the whole time, so I just basically put a maximum bid that I wanted to pay on both that I found. And then if I win one, I'll be quite happy. If I win, I wasn't expecting really to win either, because I don't like to pay too much over the odds for these things. I know eBay prices for that sort of thing can be slightly inflated, but I didn't want to pay too much. So I've only actually brought one to show you, and this is it. But I've got another one of these in the box, and it is the original high definition graphics and stereo sound, and comes with Altered Beast, and both of them have the pack-in games. One of them, though, came with an off-brand controller, which I didn't notice on the listing. Had I noticed, my bid wouldn't have been as high. But don't worry. So yeah, I've now got 2 original boxed Mega Drive consoles. So one of them I will be selling. I will be getting rid of at some point. And one of them cost £49.07 all in, including postage, that is. And one of them ended up costing £51.85 postage all in. So I imagine my bid was £50 for both of them, plus whatever the postage went. So, yeah. So basically I spent £100 on 2 Mega Drives. But I mean, I already had a Mega Drive, but I had the second release model, the one that wasn't the high definition graphics and stereo sound. So yeah. So that's basically it. I've ended up with I've now got 2 Mega Drives, 2 copies of Altered Beast, 2 full sets of cables, and 2 controllers, albeit one of them is third party. But I did go out later on and get a couple of more controllers. So I've got another white start button controller and a red start button controller, because they were lying about in CEX, I believe. Again, in my local one, which might come up later. I don't know if I've actually added them to the list. Yes, I have. So one I got in CEX and the other one isn't on the list, so I don't know where I got it. Oh well, there you are. Oh, and the extra controller that I bought was £5, but I haven't actually brought that to show. That's still in the other room. Okay, so where did I get to? Yes, so having bought them 2 box Mega Drives, I left it a little while, and then I thought I'll just go have a peek on Amazon and see if they're doing any. Because what was basically happening was I was waiting for a couple of things to come out. One of which was Sonic Mania Plus. So, you know, and that is a spoiler for one of the next things on the video. So I go on Amazon. And Amazon, when you go on, and if you buy a lot of games on Amazon, you'll know that it offers up suggestions from time to time. And I had a little bit of Amazon credit burning a hole in my pocket. I had gift cards that had been sat there for a while. And I hadn't used them, so I thought, well, you know, why not? I'll you know, once you buy one thing, it goes and gives you suggestions. So the first thing I bought, which again I haven't brought down, is Nier Automata. I'll put a picture of it up there so you know what I'm talking about. And it should be obvious that I have that because I've been doing a playthrough of it, although nobody's actually watched it. And I paid for that because I couldn't find a copy of that local to me for less than £20. That's normally my limit for a second-hand game. Current generation is £20. That is normally my upper limit, unless it is something particularly special. And I found it on Amazon, second-hand, the standard edition, not the day one edition, unfortunately. Was it actually new? Might have been new. No, I think it was second-hand. Anyway, £16.49. So I thought I'll have that. No problem. I'll have that. So yeah, that's what happened. Right. So in that same kind of Amazon session, basically what I bought was this, which is, I actually haven't even opened the shrink wrap on this yet, is Dragon's Crown. I don't know if you can see that. I hope the light's not reflecting too much. Battle Hardened Edition. A Dragon's Crown Pro, rather, Battle Hardened Edition. Now, if you don't know what this is a remake of an Atlas game that came out on the PlayStation 3, which I also own a copy of that. But this is in a steelbook. It's an Atlas game, and it's a game that didn't do well on the PlayStation 3, or didn't sell that well on the PlayStation 3, and also hasn't sold that well on the PlayStation 4 by all accounts. So, yeah, happy to have it. But I don't know. The thing is, it's one of them things that it was $39.99 for this game. and it's one of them ones that you just know if you don't buy it, you might never see it again. And if you do buy it, you will see it all the bloody time. It's just luck of the draw. And I thought, well, I'd rather have it and not need it than want it and not have it, if you see what I mean. So, yeah, that's basically how it goes. It's basically just greed is what it is. It's, I want more than I need. That's all it comes down to at the end of that. In fact, I haven't unwrapped any of these from Amazon. So the next thing I bought was Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, and the reason I bought it is because it was £22, and I've put a little asterisk by here. Oh, because sorry, that was a pre-order as well. Amazon pre-order saving $5.99. Yeah, no, right. Okay, so when I ordered this, when I actually put the pre-order in, Amazon, because Amazon price match pre-orders. I don't. This is why I like pre-ordering with them. Is because when I do pre-order, they will price match it with other people. So yeah, Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. So when I originally put the pre-order in, this was $27.99. And then what happened was, they sent me an email a couple of days later saying that it was along the lines of, your pre-order has been found £2 cheaper somewhere else. So now we're only going to charge you whatever it was, $25.99. Well, fair enough. Then the day of release, obviously the day before release, they charged my account. They charged me the $25.99, and that was fine. And then 2 or 3 days later, they sent me another email saying, something along the lines of, it was cheaper somewhere else on the day of release. So we have reimbursed you $3.99. So in the end up, I originally went on Amazon to pay $27.99 for this, ended up getting it for £22 because of the way their crazy price matching system works. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's really, and it is worthwhile sometimes actually going to some of the, the thing is, most of the game shops near me are rubbish, and in fact the game that we have in town is one of the worst ones. It really is. Even around the whole area, it is one of the worst game shops there is. Even for game, it is a bad game, if you get what I mean. Yeah, it's not worth it here. It's actually, it's got to the point now where they are just chucking stuff in the bin rather than sell it to you at a discount. They really are. Don't even get me started on that shop. A friend of mine used to be the manager there years ago, and some of the stories he could tell you, they'd make you cringe, because they do all the things you've heard about game doing. Yeah, they do that. They definitely do. They get a controller in or something like that, and word comes down from on high that we are not selling PlayStation controllers anymore. So, but instead of saying, well, we had them up at a tenner, so now we'll throw them out the door at like £2 or something like that. They won't do that. What they will do is they will take them off the shelves, cut all the wires off them, and throw them in the bin. So rather than give you a deal and them still making some money, they will just bust them out and smash them to pieces and throw them away. They do the same thing with DSs and things like that. The game comes in, they'll put the cartridge in a little bag and stick it on as this, and they'll just throw the boxes in the bin. They don't even get me started on that place. And that one in my town is terrible. Anyway, back to the Amazon thing. So yeah, the long and short is I don't pre-order anything from them. And I try and avoid shopping there unless the deal is so good that you can't say no. And in fact, later on, you'll see that. So yeah, I pre-ordered Sonic Mania Plus, which was actually the original reason for going on there. and it includes a Sega an art book, and a Sega Mega Drive reversible cover. But I like this one. You know, I think it's nice. But this has got the 2 extra characters in it as well. I will get round to playing this at some point. I haven't. And again, this goes back to the video I put up a couple of weeks ago about how I haven't had any time. I'm trying to get some content knocked out at the moment, so I still haven't had any time. So then I stopped buying for another week or so, maybe a couple of weeks, and then somebody I know approached me and said, "Hey, you like games? I've got this console and a few games and a few bits to go with it. Would you like them?" "Yeah, all right. What console is it?" "It's a Wii." Right, okay. Turns out it was a first generation Wii, so that's the GameCube compatible one. Now the console takes in games, it reads discs, it works perfectly fine. The only thing that doesn't work, would you believe it, is the sensor bar. I'm assuming the wire's broken internally or something like that, but the sensor bar will not pick anything up. So the remotes work, the console works, the plastic, the accessories turn out to be the bits of plastic that go on, you know, the controllers to turn them into a golf club or a tennis bat or whatever. And yeah, the 10 games, I'll just grab them up. No, that's not one of them. That's something else. That's later. Right, that's not 10. Oh no, it is 10 because I've already. I got rid of some, so I don't still have all 10. I can't remember what they were. I got rid of some that I didn't want. So yeah, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So instruction manual. Blah blah blah. You know what a Wii game looks like. So Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I'll put them on top of the PlayStation 4 ones. Victorious Boxers Challenge. Not because it looked good, but because it's one I haven't got. And probably one I'll get rid of. Well, I'm not a fan of boxing games on the Wii. I think Wii Sports and Punch Out did it. I can't see anything matching that really. Blazing Angels, Squadrons of World War II. Yep, so just I don't know why I'm showing the inside because Wii games are pretty much worthless at this point, the vast majority of them. Call of Duty on a Wii, I don't get it. Chicken Shoot, which is that one I got from there? Or was that one I got from somewhere else? No, that was in that. Yeah, Chicken Shoot. Which I thought I already had, but I had a different one called Chicken something else or something else Shoot. But I thought I had this one, but it turns out I didn't. Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. Now, I don't know about this one because I was pretty sure the Mario and Sonic Olympic games came in yellow cases. This one's obviously in a white case and it has no manual. So I don't know what the score is with that. I'm going to have to at some point check this out because I don't know why it's in a white case when I mean I could be wrong, but I am utterly convinced the Mario and Sonic Olympic games comes in a yellow case. Because there's only a few Wii games that don't come in white cases. For instance, the Mario Brothers 25th anniversary comes in a red case. What's it called? Is it Pandora's Tower? Comes in a black case. You know, there's things like that, and I'm sure this one's meant to be in a yellow case, but I'm going to have to check that out. And North American Hunting Extravaganza, which is a shooting game, which the Wii is actually quite good at. For shooting games, you can't do much better than the Wii. PlayStation Move works for shooting games as well, but the Wii is, especially if you have the what do you call it? What's the advanced controller called? The Wii Motion Plus. The Wii is brilliant for shooting games. So if you miss them, that's the console you want. Right. So that was a private sale. And that whole lot, bearing in mind that came with with 3 other games on top. I can't remember what they are. I've got rid of them. A console, a couple of Wiimotes, a nunchuck, and a load of plastic crap. And that was only 20 quid. Bearing in mind that's the GameCube compatible Wii as well. So, and the only thing that will need to be replaced on it to make it a functioning console is the sensor bar. So I thought that's fine. That's 20 quid. What's that? It's nothing, is it? Right, so a couple of days after that, I went to Cambridge for a day, and I didn't buy many games, but I did go in one of the game shops there. And I'll just explain to you the branch of game that is in Cambridge is actually quite good. They have everything well ordered, and the staff seem to know where everything is, although it is still a branch of game. But they do have a habit of charging you for the what is it, like the disc warranty, like the 50p disc warranty that they always, in most other stores, they will ask you if you want. They do have a habit of charging you in the Cambridge one without asking. It's happened to me on a number of occasions, but I usually manage to remember that that's what they do and say, I don't want the warranty before you ask. I don't want it, so don't even think of putting that on the receipt, sort of thing, which makes me sound aggressive, but I've been stung more than once when they haven't actually asked me. And the one that it happens most in is the one, if you ever go to Cambridge, this is. If you don't, this isn't going to mean anything to you. The one in the Grand Arcade has done it, at least 3 times to me. Whereas, to be fair, the one by the Grafton Centre across the fields has never done that. And it's the one by the Grafton Centre where I found this game, which is one that I managed to cross off my DS list, and that is Electroplankton. But I don't think this is altogether genuine, and not to put too fine a point on it, but it seems to be in a Japanese style case, or US style case. Now, I know that, if I can open it again, if I look at the cartridge, this is just a normal. What this seems to be is, I think what's happened is they've got a copy of Electroplankton in, and it's come in this US or Japanese style case. But for some crazy reason, rather than just using the ESRB rating that's on the cartridge, or the ESRB rating that's on the artwork, they've taken it upon themselves, game, to stick a 7 PEGI rating on it. And I don't really know why they do that. I mean, new games are required to have the rating. Old games, not necessarily. Second-hand games aren't required to have it. That's the thing. If it didn't have it originally, then it's not required to have it. That's how basically it works. It's like if I buy a copy of Gremlins, say, on VHS. It's going to be what was it originally, like a 15? Now, when they re-released it on DVD, I think it was then a 12. But the 15 rating still applies. If you buy the VHS copy and it says 15 rating on it, that's a 15 rated film. So that still applies, because that's the rating that's on the box. And I don't see the point in putting PEGI stickers on a game. Anyway, managed to cross Electroplankton off my list. It's one of them things. It just plays with my head. I don't know why you've done this. How much was that? $7.99. So probably about £1 more than it's worth, but at least it's an interesting game. It's one of them ones that you'll never see anywhere else. It was exclusive to the DS as far as I'm aware, unless it came out on Steam or something, but as far as I'm aware, this is an exclusive to the DS. So, happy to have it. What? Oh, yes. Then, the next day, I went in the local branch of Game just to see if they had any offers on. Periodically, I go in there to see if they've got any offers on because that's the only time I really buy anything out of there is when something's on offer. And I had... Oh, excuse me. They were basically doing a 3 for 2 on certain games, which PlayStation 4 games, the pre-owned ones. So, where are we? That's the ones. So for that 3 for 2, I bought. I managed to cross another couple off my list. One of which was Gravity Rush Remastered. Managed to get that off the list, and again, doesn't come with a manual. It's a PlayStation 4 game. Lots of them don't. They just come with bleh. Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, which has the playable demo, provided the code still works, of Final Fantasy 15, which at this point I didn't need because I have I have it anyway. And Dragon Quest Heroes Day 1 Edition, which includes 5 bonus slime weapons. Yeah, so the code is... actually, I don't have the code for that. I have the registration... what's it? And in fact, the disc does not say Day 1 Edition, so maybe I don't have that. Anyway, that's just a registration code. So, there you are. But at least I've got the box for Day 1 Edition. So that's fine. Anyway, they were 3 for 2, and it was $29.98 total. So basically $9.99 each, or $9.98 and 2/3 each, depending on how you look at it. So yeah, it was buy 2 get a third free. So that's the ones I picked, basically for a tenner each. Then I've got one that I can't show you because it hasn't turned up yet. It's a pre-order. It's from Limited Run Games, and it's called Kingdom New Lands. I can't really explain how the game works. I kind of bought it on a whim. I wasn't going to buy any more Limited Run releases, I'll be honest with you, because it was just getting too much money for the shipping. And quite often there was maybe only one game that I wanted each time they had a release, because they do a release window on a Friday, and they normally do 2 or 3 games, but there was maybe only one I wanted. But quite often I would buy 2 or maybe even all 3 if they were available, just because the shipping was the same. Whether you bought 1 or whether you bought 3, the shipping was the same, and the shipping is $15. So bearing in mind, you're talking about like a $30 game. So half the cost of the game, again, is shipping. So you may as well buy 2 at that point, or 3. But I did just buy this one, and it's a pre-order, and for Kingdom New Lands from Limited Run, and that's cost me £35.40. But unfortunately, I can't show you it because it's not here yet. It's pre-order. So... Again, back to CEX, and the same day I bought the Mega Drive 3-button pad. So this was in the CEX, not in my town, but a couple of towns over. I was looking around the shop, and I basically bought a... Where is it? There it is. An Xbox game, Metal Slug 3. Everyone loves Metal Slug. Metal Slug. Metal Slug. No need to explain why I bought this one. And I think this is the one where... Yeah, you can turn... I think this is the one where you can turn into a mummy and be sick on everyone, and yeah. Is that one? Yeah, I think it is. Or a zombie. Is it a zombie or a mummy? Anyway, I think this is the one where you can sort of vomit blood across the screen and things like that. It's quite fun. If it turns out not to be that one, then I'm going to be disappointed, because that's my favourite one. Anyway, yeah, so... Metal Slug 3 on the Xbox, and that was... Where are we? £6. So, one of the world's most expensive original Xbox games. £6. Can you believe it? £6 for an Xbox game. It's crazy. But I did come across this, and this is not one. So it's Lightning Returns. Even in a quite a poor trilogy, this is the worst one of the 3, in my opinion. But I did come across this, and this is not one. So it's Lightning Returns. Even in quite a poor trilogy, this is the worst one of the 3, in my opinion. But... I only ever see this in the Steelbook. And it's one of them ones where people go, Steelbook. No. Steelbook isn't always the special version, okay? I think this is probably the first time I've ever seen this game not in the Steelbook, in just a normal case. So I had to buy it. I mean, how could I not? And it's the same game, it's the same manual, it's the same everything as comes in the Steelbook, but it's not in a Steelbook. And honestly, I can tell you see this game all the time. It was traded into game shops all the time because it's not very good. It's not really a Final Fantasy game, to be honest. Yeah, standard version, and that was £6. So obviously, I already have the Steelbook because I'm one of the idiots that actually got Lightning Returns day of release. I mean, it's a Final Fantasy game, and this is the thing. I always used to get the Final Fantasy games as soon as possible, like literally when they come out. I mean the ones on the DS and things like that, got them when they came out, and it was pretty much this trilogy of games that stopped me doing that. I mean, X2 was great. X2 is probably it is definitely the best of the trilogy, but it is a game I've played through twice or maybe 3 times, and you know, I think it is actually a really good game. I like the monster collecting system that's in it, but this is basically the game that put me off pre-ordering Final Fantasies. I won't do it anymore. I will buy them when I buy them. So yeah, that's another little story from me. So where did I get to? CEX. Yeah, so at the same time I bought that Mega Drive 3-button pad, which cost me £5, which I talked about slightly earlier. So where am I? Yes, there's one thing I had to. It was funny enough. This is another occasion where I was in CEX. And I spotted a game on the shelf, and I thought, because I was looking for DS games, and I thought, I know there's something about that game. What is it? And then I had a look, and I read the back, and I thought, that's right, it comes with a Rumble Pack. Now, people are getting ahead of me, and they obviously know what game this is. And it's Metroid Prime Pinball. And this does actually, look, if I show you, it comes with a DS Rumble Pack. This is for the DS Lite, I think. Yeah, that's for the DS Lite, I believe. Oh, what is it? Anyway, Rumble Pack, blah, blah, blah. Metroid Prime Pinball. And I went up to the counter, and I said to the guy, does this have the Rumble Pack with it? And he went and looked in the little CD wallets where they keep all the games, and he said, no, sorry, it doesn't. Well, he didn't say no, sorry, it doesn't. He went, no, kind of like that. And I thought, well, I said to the guy, well, I don't want it then, thanks all the same. So I was a little bit deflated then, because I thought, it's not something you've been looking for specifically, but you see it and then you go, oh yeah, that would be cool. And then it takes the shine off it when something's not right, and then you sort of walk away and you can't have the thing, even though it wasn't something you specifically went to get anyway. So I went on eBay, which you should never do. When you're feeling depressed about something, you should never go on eBay, because you end up spending more money than you perhaps should, and probably more than the game is worth. Anyway, so I paid £13.49 for this. I want to say it was an auction, but at that price, I doubt it was. It may have been a buy it now. £13.49 sounds like a buy it now price, doesn't it? But that would have been including delivery, I suppose. So who knows? I can't remember. It was bloody weeks ago. I can't remember. So yeah, £13.49 for that. Overpaid, but got Metroid Prime Pinball, got the Rumble Pack. So it's another DS accessory I can, and a reasonably, well, not obscure, because Metroid's obviously not obscure, but it's an obscure accessory that only came, I think, with this game, that I can cross off the list. So, in order to have that accessory, you have to have that game. Although, to be fair, I think it only works with that game, so it's a pretty useless accessory for anything else. But at least I've got it, so who knows. Anyway, on eBay again, just thumbing through some listings. I think this was actually an auction. Put a bid on a few random 3DS games. Even though I don't have a 3DS, it's something I do plan to buy in the future. And just picked up these 4 that was all in the one auction. And that is Horrid Henry, which I believe is a European exclusive. I don't think it's. I don't think they released these Horrid Henry games in the US. Although maybe they do, just reskinned under a different name. I don't know, but I don't think they do. The Good, the Bad, and the Bugly. So yeah, it's a kids game, really. New Super Mario Brothers 2, which is great. I do like the artwork. You can see through these little doors to the artwork on the other side. That's pretty good. There's, the usual thing, the quick guide, see, somebody has actually gouged out the pin code on it. I mean, seriously, if you've already used it, fair enough, but you've gouged the pin code out of the Nintendo what do you call it? I don't even think they work anymore, but it doesn't matter. It just looks ugly, It's very mean-spirited. But new Super Mario Brothers 2. Pilot Wings Resort, which is, Pilot Wings. Everyone likes Pilot Wings. And Lego City Undercover, The Chase Begins. So, yeah. And everything's in there. Manuals and whatnots and who's its and doobries and what's its. Yeah, so that whole bundle was £25.25, which I do think I overpaid slightly for, but not by much. New Super Mario Brothers 2. I mean, what does that go for, even second hand? Maybe 15 quid. So you add in the rest of them for a tenner. That's not too bad. So anyway, during the World Cup happened. And all through the World Cup, there's a company called Retro Gaming Cables, which I had my eye on a couple of their cables for a while. And I went on because I needed some, as you know, last pickups video, I showed off that I bought a Super Famicom. No, I didn't have a proper RGB cable for it. I also didn't have a proper one for the Super Nintendo. And although I did have one for the Mega Drive, I didn't have the stereo sound one that comes with a separate audio jack. So I went on Retro Gaming Cables in order to buy them. And then their website told me that all through the World Cup they were having a sale on the super duper cables they do. They're called the Pack-a-Punch cables. And I thought, do you know what? I went on to buy the 3 cables anyway. I'm going to spend around 60 quid. With the discount they're now offering, the Pack-a-Punch cables are the same price, give or take, as the normal ones. The unshielded sort of pleb cables. I mean, they're not pleb cables because they're still like 20 quid each on their own. But the Pack-a-Punch ones, they have, it's superior grade wiring, it's shielded internal strands, all the good stuff, proper tensioners on the connectors and things. They really are good cables. So I went on, I bought 3 of them. I bought the Super Nintendo one, the Super Famicom, and the Sega Mega Drive one with the stereo hookup for the front of the console. And the total of that cost me £69.84. Now I haven't brought them down again. I slipped my mind. So I'll just put a picture or something. So anyway, done a charity shop run soon after that, and the charity shops near me are pretty much tapped out. Anything they do get is next to rubbish. A lot of them are priced higher than retail shops now for games, because I think games are worth an absolute fortune, and I've got another story about that towards the end. But there is one, and it's a company called Echo, and basically they do everything: games, books, furniture, blah 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 blah. Most of their stuff is cheap, or cheap. Most of their stuff is priced how charity shops should be priced. You know, bearing in mind they get their inventory for free. Although, to be fair, a lot of them don't know. They buy at retail. So, I mean, if you're buying from wholesalers to sell direct to the public, in what way you can be considered a charity shop, I don't know. At that point, you're a retail business and therefore should be taxed accordingly. But Echo do it right, because everything they have in is donations. Now, I know they do sell some things online, especially something that they think is genuinely worth a lot of money. I mean, if they got in like I don't know, what's worth a lot of money? If they got in a Mega Man X3, that's never going to be in the shop. That is going to be on their online store. You know, that's just how they work. That's how all shops work now. But yeah, but from the point of view that all their stuff is donated, Echo is one of the better places to go, and they do price their stuff as if it was free, because it was. Anyway, so in that one visit to Echo, I bought. Where are we? Right. Where's that all gone? It's in here. There we are. No, these aren't amazing. Actually, I'm gonna save two of these till last, because I've actually just realised something. Let me just double check. Right. I'm going to show you two of these, and then I'm going to show you the other two, because I've just realised I made a horrible mistake. So yeah, I bought 4 games at Echo. So Madden NFL 09. Yep, 50 pence. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 10, 50 pence. All the games at Echo are 50 pence, don't matter what it is. If it's in the shop, it's 50 pence. And you're not going to believe this. Beijing 2008, 50 pence. And 2010 FIFA World Cup South Africa. Oh, look, it's got one of them holograms on the front. That's how you know it's genuine. Right, now, if you were paying attention at the front of the video, you'll know what I've done. What's happened here is I've gone out. I have a list of stuff that I've got and stuff that I haven't. And it's on a piece of paper, and every time I do one of these, that gets updated, and then I print out a new copy to do my rounds with, so I know at a glance on paper what I've got and what I haven't got. But what's happened here is that list hasn't been updated in the, I don't know, 10 or so weeks between these two events, and I bought 2 of the same games twice. So yeah, that's taken the shine off this entire video for me, I'm honest. Oh well, never mind. I mean, I won't get any more than 50 pence back for them. I might get nothing back for them, or I might just consolidate which ones are the nicer looking and get rid of the scummy copy. But yeah, so I'm going to leave that in. I'm not going to cut that out. But it will be interesting when I come to do the edit to see how far my face dropped at that point. Oh, that's annoying. Anyway, a couple of days later, I go back on Amazon just to see what's about, and as I've said before in these videos, I've got a few games which I like to call sort of trigger or keystone games, and that is games that I always keep an eye on what the price is doing, because that's generally an indicator of what the market is doing in any particular console, as to whether, you know, if PlayStation 2 games are going up, then I have to immediately panic, and anything I want on my PlayStation 2 list, I start buying, because I know then it's about to go up. And that works with all consoles. You pick a few keystone games that represent most of the market, and these will be different depending on what is on your particular wish list usually. But one of the ones I keep my eye on is European exclusives, and one of the labels I keep an eye on is a company called what are they called now? Phoenix Games. Now, most of the stuff that they released were European exclusives or British exclusives. I mean, certainly their games are in English, put it that way. But I think they're actually a European company. And I just happened to spot on Amazon that the third party price for a certain game was going up and up and up. Now, I don't know why that is. It did only seem to be this one game that had just skyrocketed, because last time I looked was about 3 or 4 months ago, and it was still sitting, you know, there were plenty of copies available on Amazon, and they were, you know, 50 pence, £1, maybe £2, maybe at the most like £4 or £5, even if you factor in some ridiculous third-party shipping cost. But then I looked, and this game was actually sitting at £7.99. And I thought that, and that's not including the shipping. And I thought that is a hell of a jump. So I had to jump on it, and I got a few off the list from this one particular company, and I got a couple of. I bought one accidentally as well, because I got confused and clicked on the wrong thing. So I bought it, and it's Animal Soccer World for the PlayStation 2. No, this is a terrible game, but it is a PAL exclusive, and it was one that was the cheapest of the cheap of the cheap, because the game is rubbish. But it's jumped up in price, and what it basically is a knockoff. If you look there, you can see that those characters are all a knockoff from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. So you can see the kind of quality that we're talking about. But it was one that was on my list because, you know, I like to go for the country exclusives, especially the PAL ones, because they will play on my console. So yeah, I knocked that one off the list, and while I was there, I picked up a couple of other. I picked up a couple of other Phoenix games, and one which I obviously isn't a Phoenix game, but you'll see why I picked it up by mistake. So another one I picked up was Home Run. Again, I'm pretty sure these are all European exclusives. Home Run was, where is it? £1.63. So I know this is still cheap, but I wanted to buy it before it went up, because it looked like there was a couple of European exclusives that were going up, and these were a couple that I hadn't actually kept an eye on, but I needed to get off my list while they were still very cheap. What's this one? Oh, Mythmakers. I can't find that on the list. Yeah, £2.54 this one. Now, lots of these had quite high shipping, but I managed to order enough in that one Amazon session that it even knocked off some of the third-party shipping, so that was all right. So Mythmakers Super Kart GP, Mouse Police, which, to be fair, is exactly the same game as I mean, even if you look here, it's exactly the same game as Animal Soccer World, just with a different picture. So it's the same sort of half a dozen mini games with different content. So if you say this is a knockoff of Bedknobs and Broomsticks, this is, I don't know, Mouse Police. I suppose that'd be the Rescuers, wouldn't it? Yeah. Not, well, maybe Chippendale's Rescue Rangers or something like that. I don't know. But something of that sort of... No, there's no mistaking what this is a knockoff of. Dalmatians 3. So Most Police was £2.69. Dalmatians 3 was £2.72. And again, it's the same game. It's exactly the same. Half a dozen mini games. Just with different artwork. It's crazy, but it was allowed. And this is the one I bought by mistake, because obviously I'm frantically typing in exclusive, and I was on the Phoenix Games section, and somebody had listed this up as Thunderhawk, and this is neither a European exclusive nor a Phoenix game, but it's called Thunderhawk Operation Phoenix, and I've bought it by mistake, haven't I? And it doesn't even come with the manual, so it's not even complete. And I paid, accidentally, £1.77 for this. So there you go. That's what happens when you get in a flap about things sometimes. So... don't worry, we're getting towards the end. In fact, some of these games aren't even on the list, so I've obviously picked them up off the wrong pile. So anyway, while I was on Amazon, I treated myself to another couple of things. So, where are we? Yes. A couple of other things popped up, and I just bought them to save myself even more postage in the future. Aegis of Earth, PlayStation 3 game, and that cost me, I can't find it, £3.98, and new and sealed. So that's fine. And then there's this one, which is Persona 5. Now, on PlayStation 3, this is a relatively expensive game. And I'll explain why this was cheap. Because this came from Germany. And for some reason, the German version of Persona 5... Now, the text and the speech are both in English on this game. The only thing that's in German is the text on the box. But this is 20 quid cheaper than the new game if I was to buy it here. And it's at least a £5 cheaper than the second-hand game if I buy it here. So like if I want the completely English version with the English words on the box, even a second-hand version of that is going to cost me a £5 more than this brand new and sealed version from Germany. So I thought, sod it. Do you know what? The text, when I play the game text is in English. The speech is in English, or Japanese if you prefer, because that's an option. So sod it. I'll just get the German one and save myself, 20 quid. So that was £26.42. So... there you go. That's not bad. So, just a couple more things before I get to the very end of the video. And there is a few more things in here. So, just a couple of things that have actually turned up from the last pickups video. Stuff that I mentioned but has actually turned up now. And these are all... in fact, one of these is limited. Two of these are limited run. And one of them is... I can't remember the name of the other company. I got this from Strictly Limited is the other one. So that is Home, which is from Limited Run. Factotum 90, which is from Limited Run. And Bunny Must Die and the Seven Devils, which is from Strictly Limited Games. Now, these are basically this is basically the same as what Limited Run do, only this one's based in Europe, and this actually looks like it is a really good game. It looks like, it's like Metroid, I think, but with cutesy anime-style characters, which might be a lot of fun. I can't give you a price for these three because I don't have it in front of me, because I actually bought them. I actually bought these months ago, and they've turned up during the last 6 months. Now, one other thing I neglect to mention, and I often neglect to mention because nobody seems that interested in PC gaming at the moment. It seems to have pretty much died a death. I mean, obviously, online PC gaming has taken off in a big way, but actual buying of PC games. Now, I just want to mention it briefly because I've started buying them again. Because these things are starting to turn up in the charity shops, and these are the small box sort of PC games. Now, I can understand why people don't want to collect the big boxes, because they do take up an awful lot of space. I mean, imagine if you had a console collection where basically the size of every box was the same size as a special edition of every game. No, not saying that wouldn't make for a good looking collection, but it's a space issue. You know, how many games, how much space do you want 20 games to take up? You know, 20 games for a PlayStation 4 takes up this amount of space. 20 games for a PC, big box games, takes up massive amounts of space because the boxes are so big. But these things are actually quite good. And generally speaking, a lot of these will come with all the add-ons and the updates and things that they did after the initial release. So that's pretty good. All of these cost me 50p out of the charity shop. SimCity 3000 UK edition, 50p. Command & Conquer Red Alert, and this is still sealed, by the way. And that was 50p. Now, I'm not sure if this one actually does come with the add-ons saying that, but I think it does. So there were two add-ons for this game, which is Counter-Strike and I can't remember what the other one was, but I used to own them years ago, and I bought them all in big boxes and got rid of them because they took up too much space. No, I think this is just the original Red Alert, but still. And Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. So yeah, just wanted to briefly mention that this is something that I am going for, is the small box PC releases. Normally they're re-releases, to be honest, and a lot of them came in sort of small box sets where I think there's a Grand Theft Auto one that comes with Grand Theft Auto, the original PC game, and Grand Theft Auto London in the one box, and it's same size as a normal DVD. Whereas I think the original PC release of Grand Theft Auto again was a big box thing. It takes up too much room. Don't want it. Anyway. So, I'm going to mention there's one more game and then another thing that I've got to show. Oh no, there's two more games. Right. So this is one briefly that somebody put me onto on a forum. This Truck Racer for the PlayStation 3. Now this is by a company called Big Ben, and if you know anything about Big Ben, they are the same people that in Europe released all the Cyberbike stuff and things like that. All the proper rare sort of Nintendo stuff was released by them. So like the stuff you just can't get. I mean, they do small run stuff, not necessarily very good games, definitely not very popular games, but that's kind of their niche, is they do sort of rare rubbish games. And this one's called Truck Racer. Now, anytime you see this, if you see it, it will go for 20 quid upwards. This was being sold by somebody on eBay, brand new, still in the wrapping, and that was £6.96. Alright, it took nearly 2 weeks to get here. I don't know why, but £6.96 for a game that even second-hand goes for 20 quid. Somebody on a forum put me onto it that somebody had this up there, and yeah, jumped on it straight away. So I got that. Now, this is one I got today. Il 2 Starmovic Birds of Prey. Now, this is a funny one because I was reading a thing not too long ago, and it was somewhere on the internet. It was either on a forum or a website or something. The European version of this game had there was some sort of of print error on the cover or something like that, where these two planes in the background are wrong. Anyway, there's like some sort of rare variant cover of this game. And this isn't it, by the way. This is just the normal version of the game. But this is going to sound like an odd story. I have a charity shop nemesis in the town. Now, this guy, I'm not going to mention the name of the charity shop because it's not their fault. This guy basically manages a charity shop near me. In fact, literally 5 minutes walk from me. And he's one of these guys where he thinks everything is... He's basically priced everything. He's the manager of the shop, and he's priced everything in there that he thinks he can, because he thinks there's a collector's market for everything. And I'm not even joking. If he's got a hardback book in there, and it doesn't matter what it is, it could be an original copy of Lord of the Rings, or it could be My Ladybird First Atlas. If he's got a hardback book in there, he's priced it up as more than new. You know, there won't be a hardback book in there for less than a tenner. Don't matter what it is, because he thinks he's one of these people that he thinks he knows, and he thinks he's going after some sort of collector's market when a lot of it is stuff that has been donated for nothing. And the guy annoys me, and I annoy him. And I know I annoy him because he almost sighs every time he sees me coming, because whenever I go in there and he's got games, I always haggle over the price, because he just prices himself up. Everything in there is priced silly. I very rarely buy anything off him. And in fact, I went in there less than a week ago. Now, he's got a glass case by the front counter. And in it, quite often, he's got games. You know, it's where if he gets a plug-and-play console in, like an Atari joystick console or something like that, he'll have it in the glass case and he'll price it up silly money, basically. But I'll give you an example. He's had a Cartoon Network DS game in that glass case, priced up at a tenner, and it's been sat there 18 months. Now, when he first got it in, I had an argument, almost had a stand-up row with the guy, telling him, quite frankly, that game is not worth £10. That game is not worth £10. That game's not worth £10 new, let alone second-hand. He's got it priced up at £10. He won't budge. So I went in there the other day, and long story short, he's got a Super Nintendo controller in the glass case. He's got a copy of SimCity on the Super Nintendo, and he's got a Super Game Boy sat there. Now, in anyone's money, that is less than £20. In fact, if you were to buy that as a bundle, you're probably talking about a tenner at this point. Now, even if you priced all them items up separately at somewhere like CEX or Game, or, well, not Game, because they don't do Super Nintendo stuff. If you went into CEX and priced them items up separately, you're not even going to get to £20. I said, he didn't have a price on the stuff, so I said, oh, how much is the Super Nintendo stuff there, mate? He says £25 for the lot. I just said no. And then I started to explain why it was no, and his ears shut, he stopped listening. Okay, fair enough. I'm not even going to have it out with a guy. So I go over and look at the games, and I see this sat here. And I looked at the sticker on the back, which I've since tried to remove, and it's got a £5 written on it. And I thought, well, he obviously hasn't researched this one anyway, because that... You know, normally he's priced at high eBay, and I've seen that go for more than a £5 on eBay. So I'm guessing he hasn't had time to research these ones properly yet. But I thought, I'm still not... I wasn't in the mood to buy anything off him anyway. So I was thinking about it over the weekend, and I remembered that this thing had come up somewhere about this having some sort of rare cover. Somewhere in Europe... Possibly Germany, Russia, somewhere like that. Anyway, I knew it wasn't the British version. I was pretty sure it wasn't the British version anyway. But I can't find the website where I was reading that. I went to look for it this afternoon. I didn't have anything bookmarked. It was just like a passing thing. So anyway, I thought about it over the weekend. And I thought I am going to go in it, and I am going to wind this guy up like nobody's business, because like I say, he's one of these guys where he doesn't like to think that anyone knows more than him. He thinks he knows about all the collectors' markets, frankly, he don't know anything. But he does. He also he's quite intellectually self-conscious, and he doesn't like to think that you know more than he does. So I thought I'll get him, and I went in this afternoon, and I was the only person in the shop, and I know he knows who I am. Right, he knows who I am. He clocks me straight away when I go in his shop, and I go over to the back where the games are, and I pick this one up, and I know he's looking at me. I can feel his eyes burning into me over the counter. So I open the case, and I carefully put the case with the CD in it, with the disc in it, down on the shelf. And I look at the manual, and I just look at it, and I read for a bit, and I go, And then quietly, just take the game. I go over to the counter and I put it down, and he's got it priced up at £5. I just hand him £5 and leave the shop. Now, I don't think I've ever bought anything off this guy when I have bought something off him without an argument, without me either trying to haggle his prices because he's got everything overpriced, or, you know, basically it's always ended up in confrontation whenever I've bought anything off this guy, because either I go up to the counter with a couple of things and say, look, you've got these at silly money, I'll do do me a deal, do it properly, don't be silly, I'll give you this, this and this. So there's not once I've bought anything off him without an argument, but I thought I'll show him, and I just put it down. I handed him the £5, and I just left the shop. And the thing is, I know exactly what's going to. He is going to be on his smartphone all day long, trying to find out what it is that I know about this game that he doesn't. And I hope he comes across that article and realises that there's the one that I couldn't find about the rare cover. Because that's immediately what will happen. If I go in there and don't have an argument and immediately leave the shop and don't try and haggle for price with a guy, as I've done, a dozen times before, I know he's going to be on his smartphone all day long trying to work out what it is that I know that he doesn't. And to be fair, I paid a £5 for this. It normally goes for that. This is a £5 game. And I thought it is just even if it's a £4.50 game, even if it's a £3 game, I don't care. Just to know that he's spent the entire afternoon trying to work out what I've done. How I've managed to get one over on him somehow. It makes everything worth it. So this isn't even one that was on my list. It's just, all the pieces sort of fitted. Do you see what I mean? And it's just it's actually making me feel really good at the moment, just to know that. It's a silly story, and it may have detracted quite a bit from the pickups, but it's one of these things that every now and then life will just hand you a tickling stick, and you've got to go and tickle somebody with it, haven't you? All the bits just fall into place, and it's quite fun. Anyway, now time for the last thing on the list, and I'm not to put too fine a point on it, but this is something I just got today, and I'm so pleased I've got it. I never ever thought I would get one of these, and in fact, this is something that up until a few weeks ago, as I've mentioned in a previous video, up until a few weeks ago, I absolutely didn't even know was a real thing. I honestly had never even seen one until a few weeks ago. And what it is, it is this. And you may be saying, oh, well, yeah, it's TurboGrafx, big deal. No, this is not just a TurboGrafx. This is the PAL TurboGrafx. Now, this was £140, so quite an expensive buy, but it it's in the box for a kickoff. And you may be going, if you're an American TurboGrafx owner, you may be going, oh well, this is a tiny box. No, I'm not going to explain to you why that is for the moment. I'm going to do a separate video on this at some point in the future. But I've checked it all out. It works. The console's here. The controller's here. Power supply. Not RGB. What do you call it? Composite out thing. But yeah, so this is the European TurboGrafx, and I've got one. And these things are, I mean, to say these things are rare, I think is an understatement. You just don't see these. You honestly don't. I had never seen one in my entire life up until, maybe less than a month ago when I went to the Computer Museum in Cambridge, and they had one. And I thought, I have got to track this thing down. Now, I mean, £140 sounds like an awful lot of money. But bearing in mind, I've seen PC Engines on the right day go for more than that, and they are common. I mean, they're not the most common console, obviously, but I mean, they are common. And even PC Engines that are sold in the UK often go for more than that, especially if it's like something that's easy to modify for RGB, like a Core Duo or something like that, or do you know what I mean? I think I've got a bargain there. All right, the box isn't in the best nick, as I say. It's clear that this box is old, but it depends which way round you put it. If I put it that way round, it doesn't look so old, does it? Because there you go. Now, things that are actually missing from the box, things that are actually wrong with it. Now, number one, it has come supplied with, what's it called? The game that the US got. I can't remember the name. It's gone right out of my head. Not Alex Kidd. What's it called? Anyway, it's come with this game that I'm going to put a picture of here. That thing where you go up and the rainbow comes down. Keith Courage, that's it. Keith Courage in Alpha Zones is what came in this box. But from what I've researched, it's supposed to be Blazing Lasers that Europe got as the pack-in game, which would have been better because I like Blazing Lasers. I don't like Keith Courage. I think it's too slow, it's too cumbersome, and I don't like it. I would have preferred Blazing Lasers, but I'm not complaining. No, it only comes with one pad, which is like, but this is the thing. All of the hardware, apart from one thing, two things rather, all of the hardware for this, and I'll just show it again, European TurboGrafx, ooh, and this looks like it is the British version, but I'm not sure it is. I know it's all in English, but I'm not sure, because the power supply I got with it is a European one. All the accessories are the US accessories. So if I wanted an extra controller or a turbo tap, I'd probably have to buy them from the US, because I'm not going to get any European accessories for this console, because they just really don't exist. So if I want to buy any accessories for it, I'm going to have to buy the more expensive American versions. This apparently does not play any Japanese games. I would need to region mod it for that to be the case. But, funnily enough, it doesn't output in NTSC either. It is basically it is an NTSC console that plays NTSC games, takes the North American accessories, but outputs a PAL signal. So it outputs a PAL 50 Hz signal, even though the games it plays are NTSC. Now, like I say, I am going to do a follow-up video on this. I'm going to have to, because there is so much to explain about this ridiculous European anomaly that doesn't really exist. Obviously it exists, but there's no real information on it. Any information on it about its release or what was going on is sketchy at best. Even there wasn't even a European-wide consensus. For instance, supposedly, Britain, Germany, Spain, and possibly what was the other one? And Italy supposedly got this version that looks like an American TurboGrafx, whereas France got a different version which is based entirely on the PC Engine, plays Japanese games, and has been converted to output a PAL 50Hz SECAM signal, which is a format which is used in France. So yeah, even just trying to find information out about this thing is difficult. And I found one on eBay in the box for £140, with all the cables needed to make it work, with a controller, with a game. Not a game in the box, just the card and the instructions, and the wrong game, which like I say, it should have been Blazing Lasers. I would have loved it if it was Blazing. If it was Blazing Lasers, I wouldn't have made this video tonight because I'd have still been playing it. Oh, here comes the other cat to join me. Give me a minute. So yeah, this is definitely the pièce de résistance of this month's pickups, and I'm so pleased to have this. And like I say, a full video will be coming, possibly the next one after this, where I open the box, show you what I got, explain, hopefully be able to explain the difference between this and the US console, this and the Japanese console, why this is going to be an absolute pain in the hole to get replacement parts for, and why it's going to be expensive to get games for. But that should be obvious as to why it's expensive to get games for. So I thought I had a bit of a rarity on my hands when I bought the GX4000, but that is nothing compared to this. At least once every 3 or 4 years you will find a couple of GX4000 games. You will not find the games for this anywhere in Britain, unless you're buying them directly from a collector, or you're actually at a retro fair or something like that. You're not going to go into a game shop and find anything for this. That's how rare that is. So I am absolutely chuffed. And that is the end of the video. I'm also very tired because, I know this has been what we know. So this is well over the time that I was hoping it to be. I was hoping to try and get this one under an hour, but I still haven't managed it. So what are we're sitting at about an hour and 25 minutes or so, I guess. And the cat is patiently waiting to be fed. So yeah, like I say, I've got to put all this away now, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the pickups. There is more stuff coming on the horizon. My throat is now very sore because I've been crackling on for over an hour without really a break or a drink of cola. I'm going to have some of that now. Much better. That is not a paid sponsorship, by the way. That could be any generic can of sugar-free cola-like drink. Yeah, there's more stuff coming. The next video is probably going to be on the TurboGrafx I've just got, because it's my new special friend. Not in the way you might describe, a lover or something like that, but it's honestly, this is the best thing to turn up. I think in this whole lot. Yeah, I'm just I don't even know what else to say about that. I'm just really pleased. But if I ever want to buy anything else to go with it, it's going to be blood, sweat, and tears. To be perfectly honest, so I'm just going to probably have to. I'm going to have to get to like Keith Courage in Alpha Zones, because I don't see me spending the 50 quid or whatever it is. I might buy Blazing Lasers. I might treat myself in a couple of months and buy Blazing Lasers, because that is one that I really want. So anyway, yeah, sorry. Other videos are popping up here. There's a subscribe thing here. Please do leave comments. If you have any information on this, you can leave comments. And I will see you in another video. I've been the Pickled Onion Knight, and I hope you enjoyed all my pickups. Thanks again.